So this is like, ow! I just punched my pins. Ow! So the other day I put on my kirtles and went outside for a photo shoot. Videos will come soon. But I was just, I was wearing them and I was like swishing and waltzing and feeling like a maiden running through the woods, you know. Typical. That's a great feeling. That's a really great feeling to have, and I want more of it. So I thought, I sew. Why don't I just make one for every day? So that's what we'll be doing today. I'm inspired by, so if you've seen kirtles, they're usually made from sort of one piece-ish and then gores to add some width. I'll link in a video because I did actually film my first kirtle input on YouTube, so yay past me. But we're going to be doing a slightly different kirtle which I've seen online, which is a fitted bodice with a skirt. Now this is inspired by, you guys know I'm in for the cottagecore aesthetic, even though I lived in the city for the past 10 years of my life. So it's not, you know, an original thing, but it is inspired by a historical kirtle, but made for modern wear. And I'll show you my crude drawing. So here's my crude drawing. It is just a really basic dress. So the whole point of this dress is that it'll be wearable for every day, which means a few things to me. Number one, it has to be easy to put on. A zipper is pretty easy, and instead of putting it at the center back, where it'll be more noticeable, I think I'm just going to do a side seam one, like you see in sort of vintage dresses and that kind of thing. And then the other important thing is that it must have pockets. It must have the pockets. So there will be pockets at the side seams. Super easy. They'll just be in the seam of the skirt, and they should be just, you know, really easy, and you can keep your phone and snacks. And then the third thing that's really important to me is that it must be machine washable. I'm not hand washing dresses. So it must be machine washable, which means that I'm pre-washing my fabric. So a couple of things that this means is that if you don't pre-wash your fabric and it's a natural fiber, it will probably shrink when you wash it for the first time after you've worn it. I have had personal experience with this where I made a really nice dress that I loved, and then I didn't know to pre-wash it. I didn't pre-wash it, and when it came back from the wash, it was so snug, it barely fits now, and it doesn't look very flattering. So, lessons learned. I always pre-wash any fabrics that I'm going to wash in the machine. Now I'll show you a trick for that in a second. Those are the important things for me when I make stuff for my wardrobe. And I want it to be pretty swishy, so there's going to be a lot of pleats in that volume, in that skirt. But the thing I want to avoid as well is I don't want to do darts or princess seams. And those two are the ways that usually these bodices are made to fit your body. So that's going to be a little tricky, but I think we can get there. I still haven't made or mocked up the pattern. That's what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to show you how to make your own pattern if you want. If you don't want to, I'll leave a couple of recommended patterns in the description box. They're not patterns I've used personally, but they're commercial patterns that you'll be able to buy and get easily, and they have the same sort of style lines, so they should be easy to convert with some alterations to this style. But I will say that most, if not all of them, do have princess line seams or darts. And that, to me, that's a giveaway of a modern garment. And if it doesn't bother you, then use it. I just prefer to try to not do it without. It might not be possible. So I'll just show you how I'm prepping my fabric now. So all I did was I sewed it into a loop. This has a name, which I've now forgotten. But the first time I heard about this was on Hoppin' Bobbin's Instagram. If you don't follow her, highly recommend. I'll leave her handle in the description box. But basically it's when you sew your fabric into a loop so it doesn't tangle in the washing. And I've done this before and it worked really well. So doing it again. And I just finished the edges with the zigzag stitch, just because sometimes fabric can fray quite a lot in the machine. And so this is my fabric. It's this beautiful forest green linen. It's like, I would say it's between lightweight to medium. It's not the lightest linen and it's also not really heavy, so I think it's perfect for this. And I got here 5 meters, which I think is way more than I'll need for this dress. But I like having a little bit left over, especially of linen, because I always want more linen. And so, yeah, this was pretty affordable. And yeah, I'm just gonna shove this in the washing machine and then start on the pattern. Let's go. Doesn't look like a dress. No, it doesn't. So today we won't be flat drafting and we won't be draping. Simply because I wanted to show you guys an option in case you don't have a mannequin in a dress form and you don't like flat drafting. But it's basically a really quick and easy way to make a first rough pattern. So this is actually, so I got a bunch of old stuff from a school, from my friend's school where she works at, like theatre stuff that they didn't want anymore. But you can achieve this look just by like pinning 2 pieces of fabric together at the top and leaving 2 holes for your arm and then just pinning in from the sides. Because this is basically just 2 rectangles of fabric sewn into a tunic. So I have no other use for this fabric. This was set aside as, you can see it's still got paint on it and everything. So it's just aside for mock-ups. So what I'm going to do is, you can see here that it's quite big. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin that away. Okay, so that's, you can see that's a rough shape. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get a Sharpie and I'm going to draw in my style lines. So this is like, ow! I just punched my pins. Ow! Okay, the next important thing is to mark your waist. I find this super important for me because I am short-waisted. If you're new here, I say that about 3 times every video. I should probably be doing this in front of the mirror. There you go. That's my rough neckline. Okay, so now you might be thinking, but Kat, what about the back? What the heck? What are you gonna do about the back? So don't worry. Basically, I'm just gonna draw like this. Which probably looks terrible. Yep, it does. But I just need a rough guideline. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this off and just cut away the excess and pin up sides so I can try it on again. Okay, so here we are. I cut away all the extra stuff and here we have our first mock-up, I guess. It's got some clear issues. I think in particular the armhole went really funny. It's too low. I think I'm gonna raise it here by about, looks to be like an inch, and also fix this curve here so it comes out a bit more. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. I just went ahead and marked the center front because the neckline isn't even on both sides. And this side sits a lot better than this side. You can see it gapes and is moved off the shoulder a lot more on this side. So this is better. And then the back, the only thing I can really say is that the neckline of the back, I think I want it to be more squared and out. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I'm quite surprised at how well that worked. I hope it works for you too, in case you don't have a dress form. I could have done all this on the dress form, but I wanted to show you how to do it on your actual body if you wanted to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the pattern along this center front that I drew here, along this side seam, along the shoulder seam, and then along the center back, which I'll have to figure out once it's off. And then I'm going to transfer that to paper, and then I'm going to use my rulers, including my French curve. In case you don't have one of these, this is the most useful thing in sewing. It's freaking amazing. It works for everything. And then so I'm just going to use my drafted pattern and go in with this French ruler to fix things like the armhole curve here is what this does, basically. And yeah, I'll show you the finished pattern in a little while. And then I am, of course, going to actually do a mock-up of that. So here's my first mock-up. Just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. So there are definitely positives and there are definitely negatives, as with everything in life. It's still really large at the waist. So I've marked it here. I pinned it and then I marked it with a pen to see how much I'll need to take in. I've done the same on this side. And then the other thing I noticed that I didn't quite like was the angle of the straps. I thought they were too thick. So I have instead marked a new line here. But yeah, I think that's a good start. I have a dress form. If you have a dress form, it's probably just easy to do this on the dress form. But I wanted to show you in case you didn't, because I learned how to sew through YouTube and I didn't have a dress form for a while. So it was all about sort of, you know, sewing things together and putting them on me and trying to make it work. And that's how you learn, I think, because sometimes it might feel a bit intimidating if you don't have, you know, the right machine or the right dress form or whatever. You can still sew and you can still make pretty dresses if you want to. We're all about sharing skills here, and talking about sharing skills, let's go over to sponsor Cat. Thank you, Normal Sewing Cat. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Thank you. If you haven't heard of Skillshare, which I find doubtful, I'm here to tell you all about it. Skillshare is an online learning community. If you've been feeling uninspired or stuck, learning a new skill is a really good way to get out of a rut. Skillshare has classes on photography, film and video, crafts, fine arts, stuff, and so much more. I personally have been using it to improve my photography skills. To start with, I'm a dreamer, so I want to learn everything. After I started sewing, the next thing I wanted to do was to take pretty photos of the things I've spent so long making. But often, like, the photos didn't look great. But I have been taking a class called Fundamentals of DSLR Photography. If the word ISO sends you into a panic, this class is for you. But now with these new skills, I'm able to adjust the shot and fix the issues as they come. I highly recommend checking out Skillshare. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to hit the link in the description box in the first top comment will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. After that, it's only $10 a month with a yearly subscription. And now back to our regularly scheduled content of panic sewing and indecisiveness. Back to you, Kat. Hey guys, just wanted to show you the last mock-up. I know, I'm committing. I think it's fine, I think it works. So I actually cut this out of calico. I just wanted something with a bit more stiffness so I could see how, because I'm going to interline the linen, how it would actually look. Please let me know in the comments if you think seeing the mock-up stages is helpful or if it's just boring. It's me to skip through it, just let me know. But basically, here's the last few changes I made. I'm raising the waist at the center front by about an inch at the side, down to ½ an inch at the front. I'm also going to let out the bust at the side seam here. You can see that the fabric is just a bit taut and it is a little tight. So I'm just going to let it out here by 1/4 of an inch on either side of the seam. Tomorrow, I will start cutting out the pieces and I'll show you in detail all the pieces I'm going to make because I do want it to be a sturdy bodice. Okay, so I've cut out my pattern pieces. I just wanted to show you what they look like. This is the front, cut on the fold, front here. Ta-da! I might put this pattern on Patreon if patrons are interested. Very simple. This bodice should be really simple. It's literally 2 pieces, right? I wanted this to be a really easy project in case you're starting out sewing. You can do it, don't worry. So this is the back. Pretty simple. So what I've got here is one layer of the green linen and one layer of the sturdier linen that I used. You can use any sturdier fabric that you've got. You can even use fusible interfacing if it's like heavier than the papery kind of one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure, so to unite these two layers of fabric, first thing I usually do is I just lay them down wrong sides facing each other, and then I iron them together, and that's when I pin the two pieces together. And I always baste with the outer fabric on the underside. So I'm just going to do large basting stitches to keep them together, and then I'm just going to sew up the side seams. Oh, one side seam, because the other one will have the zipper in it. Don't forget about that. How am I going to finish the necklines? Turn on there. Got it. Don't worry guys, we got this. We got this. So I sewed like 3 seams and it's done. So you can see that there's some puckering here at the front. I'm not sure why that is. I'm hoping that once it's actually sewn, so it's only basted at the moment, it'll fix it. And then this seam is only done by 2.5 inches at the top, because then that's where the zipper will start. And yeah, I think it's pretty cute. And you can see it's quite smooth. Obviously there'll always be a little bit of wrinkling here, just because that's how bodies move. But yeah, I think it's really cute. Things left to do on the bodice are just finish the seams, and then the next thing I need to do is just cut the skirt. That was really quick. It's very strange for me to it was only 3 seams that took like no time at all. Okay you guys, so I'm having another existential crisis about where to take this dress. So we're chatting, we're sewing, we're chatting. You know, sometimes, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I have an idea. I don't necessarily have a design. And even though I draw out the dress, sometimes I think it's quite hard when you see like an inspiration image or something on like Instagram or Pinterest or something. But obviously that will always look different on your body. So I'm struggling a little bit. So the bodice is as is. So I've pleated up what I think is about 4 meters of fabric into this skirt. So it's hella swishy. I don't think my room is long enough so you guys can see properly, but oh my god, it's so swishy. So my dilemma at the moment is that most supportive or what they call fitted kirtles that I've seen are the kind of style that's leaning more towards Tudor. There is a book I like to get, but I actually don't have it yet, so I don't really know much. But it's called The Tudor Tailor. I'll be acquiring it into my library in the future, I'm guessing. So for now we have to invent, and this isn't meant to be a historically accurate kirtle. This is just meant to be a kirtle / medieval inspired dress that I can wear every day. So I think the most important thing for me is to make sure it is number 1, comfortable, and number 2, flattering. I want to feel good, you know? I don't think that's a bad thing. So although this skirt gives me maximum swoosh, it is actually really nice swoosh. I feel like it makes my hips and butt look really wide. Can't believe I just said that on YouTube. But yeah, so here we are. I'm not very happy with that. The other option that I have that I thought about was, originally this dress was actually going to be not a fitted bodice, but more like the kirtles that I've made before. But the thing about a kirtle skirt is that it basically has 4 gores, godets, gussets, whatever you want to call them. And they're inserted in the side seam, centre front, and centre back. And that's a good way to add volume to your hem. So I was thinking, maybe I can just do that. I don't know what the next vlog section is going to be like, guys. made a decision. After many Instagram polls and stories, I've decided to go with a cord skirt. So for this purpose, it's not the same as like a modern cord skirt. Here's my sketch. This will be the front and the back, and everywhere there's a G, there'll be a gore. And the gores are just triangles of fabric that you insert in there. So this is what the skirt panel actually looks like. This is the back, so there's 2 of them. And at this point, the hem is about 2 meters, which is a nice hem. So if you wanted to stop here, do. If you want to be extra like me, I'm going to talk to you about gores. So I've cut out 8 triangles. They're almost perfect triangles. I just cut them out like this. And the bottom is about 35 centimeters. So it'll be a swishy hem. So that's good. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to attach one side of the triangle to the diagonal sides of all the skirt pieces. And I'm going to do this with French seams. So I'm just gonna sit down, just gonna do them and come back and show you what I've got. And then at the end, you should be able to just sew up all of the side seams, front seam and center back seam in one swoop without having to worry about aligning triangles and stuff like that. So yeah, BRB. Just wanted to show you guys this sexy ass seam. Wow, look at it. Not all of them are like this, but this I think, and this one is hot. So I just basted it all together just to make sure that it's working before I sew anything down. And I think it looks cute. You can't see the proper swish of the skirt, but photos will come. But I just thought I'd talk you through really quick what I have to do right now, which is, so the pockets are only basted in, so I'm gonna have to sew them in on both sides there. And then the waist seam is only tacked down. The other thing I still need to do is put in the zipper, which will go right here. Linen in the inner layer, this bit is only basted on, so that all needs to be hand sewn down. And then it will need a hem, and after all that, it'll be done.